Our second student speaker, selected by the class of 2010, is Maxwell Thiemens, Earth Sciences and Geophysics. Maxwell is from San Diego, California, and following graduation, he will be attending Washington University in St. Louis to obtain his PhD in Earth Sciences. Please welcome Maxwell Thiemens.
Blow the conch.
Alleged conch.
Yeah. Thank you. Steps, you know. You know, Twain once said, every morning I eat a live frog. After that, the day's easy. He could have saved some indigestion if he had tried the conch shell instead. When, in the course of human events, it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal stations to which the laws of nature and of nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. The Revel students at least should recognize that as the Declaration of Independence. You may be wondering, is that appropriate for a graduation speech? Definitely. That's the event that sundered us from our parent country. It's the most important in our nation's history, and it's being reenacted in a way with this commencement. This is the most important day of our lives, as we're dissolving the bands which metaphysically link us to UCSD. And rather than meet our Declaration of Independence with refusal, we're graduating from a place that's patting us on the back and saying it's proud of us. We're left able to celebrate today, to celebrate the culmination of years of hard work, of long nights, feverish studying, a slew of classes, of papers, homework assignments, and exams, and we celebrate the kind of fun that you only appreciate in contrast to that kind of hard work. We're celebrating the friends that we've made and those wonderful experiences we'll never tell our kids about. We're moving on. We're independent from, but forever beholden to this eucalyptus-studded alma mater. We're armed with bachelor's degrees, and we're eager to show the world what a UCSD grad can do. For those of you kind of zoning out, the buzzwords I've been using here are celebration and independence. These are words laden with connotation, so let's re-highlight the aspects of their definition that we've got to take note of. Celebration. It's a social event organized to highlight a special achievement. Commencement style stuff. Independence. A reallocation of accountability, in this case from UCSD to ourselves. Now that's a scary idea. We're now entirely culpable for our own actions. We're no longer governed by a threat of academic censure, our grades being hurt, or even just annoying a TA or a professor. Obviously, there's going to be bosses, co-workers, or even more professors for those of us pursuing further education. That's a cycle that we'll always be exposed to iterations of, but we finished this rotation of the undergraduate wheel of time. As Journey sings, the wheel in the sky keeps on turning, though I don't know where I'll be tomorrow. We have a brief moment of reprieve. We can breathe deep the fresh air of freedom, and we can celebrate this moment before engaging our future. As Revel students, there's two things that we hold close to our core. One is physical. It's the core of our campus. It's the center, Library Walk. This thrumming note of activity could alter between having fraternities or vendors, petition signers, Christians, charities, clubs, passing out of student dollar stretchers, Korean barbecue, and back in our day, that's where the farmer's market was. I know some very fine, organized people here probably knew what was going on, but I think more of us had it sort of be like a perpetual present from UCSD to ourselves, waiting to be unwrapped. Now, Library Walk, or Schrodinger's Sidewalk if you prefer alliteration, sprang forth from Geisel Library. Now, this was an awe-inspiring building. We've put a lot of work in there, and I think that the least we can do is swing by and thank it for the hard work it's done for us. Of course, it's a library, so we can't really hold it in favor, especially when compared to cliques. Everyone here, I hope, experienced to some extent 24-hour week at cliques during finals. Passed out students strewn about like wreckage on an academic battlefield. And whether it was through seeing or being one of these students, sleeping on a desk, under a desk, studied huddled in a blanket, or, running free of the library quite literally via the underwear run, cliques had a wealth of potential memories. These are memories born of events that are an integral part of our college experience, and that's just 1 week's worth. Speaking of memories, never again are we going to get to attend Sun God for free. It's that day when we would pretend that it was a 3-day weekend. We would mourn those few that were trapped by those cruel professors enforcing attendance. We can complain about how Sun God was better back in our day, but never again are we going to have a ready supply of lowerclassmen hanging on our words as we possibly embellish the raucous events and festive merrymaking of our younger years. We'll never again experience that bemused feeling of wonder, Sun God morning, as we wonder of how much of what we do that day is going to be something that we really regret later. For the parents' benefit here, let me interject. That regret is entirely because we were concerned whether we were studying the right material. There's nothing worse than spending 3 hours on bio when you should have been working on Hume. As a quick poll, how many people here remember what classes were like in fall of '07? It's an abstract memory, so let's clarify. That's when campus was shut down because of how bad air quality was because of the fires. See, that was our second year. Unless, you're a transfer student, you finish quick, or you're a delinquent finisher. And that's not a dig at anyone. That was my 4th year here. Sorry, Mom and Dad. But that's what we did. That's what we experienced. And by remembering these key moments of what we've done, by remembering our watermelon drops, our Revel dances, those events that at the time seemed momentous, well, they were. Remember them and treasure them, because that's what we've really gained from college. It's not just our bachelor's degrees. We've been here, and we've seen the culmination of diversity as we elected an African-American president. We've been here and seen disappointing behavior from our own with stuff like the Compton Cookout. On a lighter note, another sweet UCSD memory was the Bear Gardens. Free food, music, beer, games, friends, beautiful San Diego weather. We hit the jackpot coming to this campus, and that's the event that kind of embodies it. How do you beat standing out on the grass, sipping a cold IPA between bites of a free sub, and talking with friends or making new ones? The Gardens also kind of fell right after some terrible exam or equally draining academic event, and they were that much sweeter for it. I don't know if they studied exam distribution patterns, had some form of academic sorcery, but there's something magical about the Bear Gardens. There's one thing though, it surrounds us, it penetrates us, it binds us as a college. I'm not talking about the force, I'm talking about the defining event of any Revel student's career, the Hume Corps. It was enforced by Revel College to make us into Renaissance scholars, courses where we had to study all of Western history, turning us both into Revel scholars as well as scholars of the Renaissance. Revel wanted its graduates to have a diverse education, to give us a college-level understanding of multiple topics beyond the area of our specific focus. And this seems to have been valuable for a lot of people too, because there's a lot less bio pre-meds in the audience right now than when we were all accepted. And I think it's nicer to imagine that they just decided to change to something that they enjoyed more through these diversity courses. This breadth of knowledge is advantageous to all of us, because at the very least, it can culminate in attending a cocktail party, as we are of course wont to do, and be able to nod and smile when someone mentions Voltaire, because we kinda almost know who he is. Seniors, we're graduating. It's not a time for you or me, it's a time for us. We are the class of 2010. We finished, and we're all taking this last step at UCSD together. It's an outstanding moment, and let's treasure it, because it's likely the biggest achievement yet in our lives. I know a lot of people have already said this, but since I got a mic, I get to say it loudest. I'm proud of us. We did it.
Woo!
Real quick, I'm going to swap eras of presidential quotation, going from oldest to newest. Here's a change that we can believe in.